Hey everybody, Two Pump Chump coming to you live from the Valley of the Sun. I want to welcome everyone to our Week 7-8 review preview show. As always, we're going to take a look back, take a look forward, and also talk about a few odds and ends in between, so let's get started. We're going to start off where last week the Raider Nation defeated the Boats and Hoes 138 to 124 thanks to Rodgers and Cruz. In our next matchup, we had the Packerbackers defeating the Indians 127 to 94 thanks to Foster, Marshall, Gore, and Colston. In our next matchup, we had the Afro Man almost doubling up the Powder Puff, 121 to 64, thanks to Breeze, Cobb, and Jackson. In our next matchup, we had the Gang Green defeating the Kingpin Skinny Chimps, 132 to 127. A big day from Josh Freeman trumped a huge day from Vincent Jackson. In our next matchup, we had the Meltdown defeating the Two Pump Chump, 112 to 107, thanks to Chris Johnson, finally. And in our final matchup of last week, we had the Man Bear Pig defeating the Tombstalkers, 132 to 112, thanks to Peterson, Gronk, and Jordy Nelson. Okay, power rankings this week, boys and girls, after 7 weeks. Last week we had a losing team on our power rankings. Ditto for this week, just a different one. Coming in at number 6 this week in our power rankings, as ranked by CBS Sports, we have a 3-4 Kingpin Skinny Chimps team. Coming in at number 5, we have the Engines with a 3-3-1 record. Coming in at number 4, we have the Meltdown coming in with a 3-3-1 record. Coming in at number 3 in our power rankings, we have the Gang Green team with a 4-2-1 record. Coming in at number 2, we have a very powerful 6-1 Raider Nation team. And coming in at number 1 for the 4th straight week in a row, as ranked by CBS Sports, we have the 5-2 Packerbackers. Congrats to all. Okay, mid-season All-Stars. We got 20 players spread across 4 teams. Honorable mention all the way up to first team. The only criteria for your players or positions to make this team, you would have had to have started them 4 out of 7 weeks of the first 7 weeks. Breakdown goes as is. We had 11 players from the AFC, 9 from the NFC. We have 3 different teams with 3 players. The Raider Nation, the Indians, and the Powder Puff all have 3 players, coincidentally all from the AFC. And we have 2 teams not even represented in our midseason All-Stars. That's the Two Pump Chump and the Kingpin Skinny Pimps. Not so good. Let's get on to naming the teams. Representing our honorable mention team, we have kicker Jason Hanson. Our defense, the Rams. At wide receiver, we have Reggie Wayne. At running back, C.J. Spiller. And at quarterback, Tom Brady. Representing the third team, we have kicker Matt Bryant. The 49ers defense. At wide receiver, we have Wes Welker. At running back, we have Adrian Peterson. And at quarterback, we have RG3. Representing our second team, we have kicker Shane Graham. Defense, the Texans. Wide receiver, A.J. Green. Running back, Ray Rice. And quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Representing our first team, the cream of the crop. At kicker, we have Gostkowski. At defense, we have the Chicago Bears. Representing the wide receiver first team, Victor Cruz. Representing the wide receiver first team running back, we have Arian Foster. And our top quarterback in the league at our halfway point is Drew Brees. I want to congratulate everyone who had players named, except for the Chumps and the Pimps. Okay, no spotlight segment this week. Must be getting cold in Delaware because it doesn't seem like you guys can take the heat that I'm pumping your way. So we're going to start off and have a new segment this week called What Two Pump Chump Realized Just This Past Week. One of the things I just realized just this past week, that the Tombstalkers may actually end the season with just 1 win. Another thing I realized just this past week, the Afro Man may have the best team, not in the top half of our power rankings, in the whole league. Pretty impressive. Another thing I also realized this week, that I'm not the only knucklebrain not to complete a lineup on a Sunday morning. We had the Afro Man and the Powder Puff. Afro Man, no defense. Powder Puff, no kicker. Coincidentally, they played each other. Probably wouldn't have mattered. The Powder Puff probably could have started 5 kickers. Probably still wouldn't have mattered. Next thing I realized just this past week, that the Raider Nation, they do have a computer and they actually may know what's going on in this league. Next thing I realized just this past week, that 3 wins out of 7 weeks can go to some team's head. I was just texted by the Kingpin Skinny Pimps just the other day, and he was just letting me know that he feels he had one of the stronger teams in the league at 3-4. Yeah, right. Next thing I realized just this past week, Jacquizz Rodgers is not even on the Indians roster. Pretty surprising to me. I criticized the Indians about 4 weeks ago for his running back situation, and he pretty much defended it by telling me he has a stud on his bench in Jacquizz Rodgers, and that he was going to get the bulk of Atlanta's carries. He was going to be the man there, and that was pretty much his answer to his running back problems. He was even nice enough to let me know about a couple links to the websites where he gets his information. Guess you shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet. And finally this week, I realized that we do have more than one team in this league with a vagina. A real big vagina. So, just want to let everyone know that. Okay, coming up, our Week 8 matchups. We have the Packerbackers facing the Powder Puff. the Raider Nation facing the Man Bear Pig, the Afro Man facing the Gang Green, the Meltdown facing the Tombstalkers, the Chumps visiting the Boats and Hoes, and the Pimps facing the Indians. I want to thank you all for joining me this week, and as always, Delaware, stay where you're at. I'll be back soon.